stupendous.
John Wick Chapter 4 is the best movie of the century. I could just end that review right there. See you later. No, I'm kidding. But honestly, I stand by that statement so much. I can't even do a proper review of this film because we'll be here all day if I did that. Because this movie was just pretty much perfect. This is everything I wanted from a John Wick movie. It somehow is better than the last three. And I thought Parabellum could not be topped. And somehow it just flew over that line that it set. It was absolutely phenomenal. I'm just going to give it the score right now. 9.5 out of 10. I'll get to why it's not a 10 yet. But this is the best movie of the year so far for me. 100%. Of course, I can't talk about this film without mentioning the action. This is the best action in the franchise. And it probably has some of my favourite action scenes in the entirety of movies. There is literally a half an hour straight full of action in Paris. We go through different set pieces. And it never got bored. Usually I get bored after about 10 minutes. But no, I was just adrenaline filled all the way through it. And I wanted more. I didn't want it to stop. The choreography is just flawless. Punches actually feel real. Everything just looks amazing. Visually, it's fantastic. There's one scene which I really liked. I don't want to get too spoilery, but there's one scene where it's filmed like a video game, like over the top. Goes through the roof. You just see John Wick just shooting people, beating people up. It's just so cool. And the weapon that he uses, it's just fantastic. And there's also different styles of fighting in this. We go to Japan or China, somewhere in Asia. We'll go for that samurai sort of action with guns and swords. And then we get to Paris and it's just a full-on shootout. We'll go to roundabouts, we're hitting cars. Everything that you wanted in an action scene is in this movie guaranteed. And can I just say, stuntmen are very underappreciated. I don't know if you've seen that video online of this guy just tumbling down an escalator.
3, 2, 1, action!
I tell you, man, stuntmen are not commemorated enough because stuff like that can cause serious injury. He's putting his life on the line basically for a movie. You got to respect that, 100%. And of course, Keanu Reeves, my favourite actor of all time. Everyone knows he's not the best at acting, but you don't care because you buy him as these characters. You buy him as Neo, you buy him as John Wick, and I think it's the best he's been with this character. He doesn't say much, but when he does say a line, he says it in the coolest way possible. Like, I think the word he says the most is, yeah. And he says it in the most coolest way possible. I just love it. I can't think of anyone else to play this character. We also get a bunch of new characters in this as well. We get Donnie Yen playing a guy called Kane. And he's a blind guy who just performs his choreography so well. He's a fantastic actor. He knows how to do fight scenes. And he plays like a friend who has a bit of banter with John Wick. I don't really like their back and forth. I thought it was very fun. We also get a guy called Mr. Nobody who has a dog. And he was cool as well. He was just a basic tracker assassin guy. But he's very likeable and he's very funny sometimes. Now, of course, with the John Wick films, you know the narrative's got to be stupid. And of course, this one just takes the cake. John Wick goes down a path to destroy the High Table, but a bounty is growing on his head ever more. It's increasing all the time. And I will say that the villain in this was not the best. He was really goofy. But of course, you kind of expect that from these films. Bill Skarsgård does play him very well, but he kind of just sends his henchmen to do the dirty work instead of actually doing the dirty work himself. He said to his henchmen, go kill John Wick for me. And he just sits there in the chair looking cool and smart and rich. So, he's not the most threatening villain ever, but, he does the job. He services the story. He's kind of scary with how powerful he is, how he could just tell everyone to do his bidding. So I guess that's the kind of scary part of him, but I didn't mind him. I thought he was an alright villain. And of course, there is a few moments where you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. I don't know if it's a bulletproof suit, but doing this with your suit does not block bullets. And There's a few times where John Wick does that, and it's a little bit laughable. I don't know if it's a bulletproof one. If it is, tell me. I might be getting confused, but still, it was still a bit ridiculous. And there's a few times where people get shot in the most devastating places, and they're still able to walk. So, yeah, that was ridiculous as well, but as I said, all these movies have that. I've just kind of got used to it now. And there is a few set pieces which are very laughable as well, but in a good way. They have a little callback from the first John Wick where they're fighting in the club. And there's this huge action scene going off. Bullets are flying, hatchets are being thrown. And there's still people dancing in the background to club music. It's like, mate, people are literally getting killed left, right and centre. You should be running for your lives. And I will also say that this movie is beautiful. This is visually amazing. I couldn't find one bad shot in this movie at all. The director did a fine job at shooting this movie, making it look beautiful, even in the quiet scenes where no action is going off. It is still beautiful to look at. And I will say that this movie earns its nearly 3-hour runtime. This is nearly 3 hours, and boy does it earn it. I've seen people say it lasts a bit too long, which I can get. I can totally understand, but for me, it earned its runtime. I was never bored. It didn't feel like 3 hours. It felt like 2 because of all the thrill that's just going off. And I think it says something when I wanted more. I would have been in the cinema for 4 hours and I wouldn't have been bored with this movie. So overall, John Wick Chapter 4, it is the best action movie of the century. I 100% agree with that statement. I will stick to that statement. You could torture me for it. I do not care. The action is just flawless. It's visually beautiful. Acting wise is just great. John Wick, I can't see anyone else playing him apart from Keanu Reeves. There's just so much to love about this movie. And I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10, as I've just said. If you can see this in the cinema, just do, honestly. But guys, that is it for the end of this review. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you thought of John Wick Chapter 4 in the comments. Always love to hear your thoughts. I hope you all enjoyed once again. Have a good day. See you later.